And now we turn to the next part of the news journey, and that is content production. And now we have some speakers from this house, from JP Politiken, and we'll take a closer look at how generative AI is being integrated into newsroom workflows at scale. First, we'll hear from Tore Rik, product manager for generative AI at JP Politikens Hus, who will walk us through the rollout of MAGNA, a suite of editorial tools based on generative AI now being used across the entire media house. And then we'll zoom in on the journalist perspective. Jonas Pröschold, journalist at Politiken, will share concrete examples of how he uses MAGNA in his daily reporting from idea to article. Please welcome Tore Rik and Jonas Pröschold.
So, as we have learned, lots of people in this room are building tools for the editorial workflow with generative AI. But how do those tools actually become a part of the editorial workflow? For this, we have two on stage. Jonas, I don't know if your mic is functioning.
I don't know either. Can you hear me? Yeah. My name is Jonas Pröschold. I'm a journalist here at Politiken. My office is like right on the other side of that ceiling. I'm an investigative journalist, and I mostly write about technology. Oh, that's better. And people and society, and how that whole thing engage with each other.
Yes, and my name is Tore. I'm the product manager for generative AI in our AI units shared for the whole house. And we build, next slide. We have a shared AI unit, and we build on top of the platform Intelligence and News that we have showcased the previous years. And we have MAGNA, of course, that is our platform for generative AI. And in that we have different kind of people. We have the product manager, it's me. We have a technical lead. We have a front-end UX designer. We have a machine learning engineer and a machine learning specialist, and those are the people building MAGNA. What we want to do is build something that efficient to free up time for qualitative journalism. We want to enrich the news with new elements made with AI, and we want to give the journalists superpowers to be able to do something that you couldn't do before, both in news discovery and in order to reach more kinds of audience with versioning. So first we build a chat in a safe environment with different and various LLMs. Then we build article archive search, semantic search across the different archives in JP Politiken's house, so you can choose our different media brands and pose in questions and do a time period. And semantic, of course, is meaning that you pose a question and then you will get which articles answer that question best.
So yeah, I use this tool quite a lot. For instance, I got this email a month ago with a source telling me I should really look into this really cool opinion piece that was published by Jyllands-Posten, one of the other media in this house. And it was published on the 1st of January. And I tried to Google it, couldn't find it. Tried to look in the paper on the 1st of January, couldn't find it. Why? Spoiler alert, it was a news article, not an opinion piece. And it wasn't published on the 1st of January. And the way I know this is because I did a semantic search. I simply just took what the source wrote me, put it into the semantic search, and then the first hit was that exact news article, not opinion piece. And for me as a journalist, this is a really great tool, especially as you might be aware, Google search is getting worse and worse by the day. This really works really well because it only searches on the articles that we have published or that Jyllands-Posten have published.
On top of that, we have built retrieval augmented generation, so now you can have a task chosen, like here you have written a fact box about the American presidential election, then it writes a fact box for you, only with the basis of what we all have written about that, so not about any training data. and you can click the links and see which articles those paragraphs exactly are taken from. Then we have article tools, a selection of tools with which you can put in your text, and then this is a proofreading tool. And we have another tool, for instance, headline suggestions. And what is special about this is that you can continue to chat with it. So it's a chat, an ongoing chat. So you can say those headlines should be longer or for a more narrow audience or younger audience. And then we have feedback for all our article tools and other tools. They have feedback, and the journalists use those very much, and it's very important for us.
And at Politiken, we really love quotes in headlines. Our readers do too. So every time I get headline suggestions, I will always write, please use quotes from the articles, and then it will go into the article, find the best quotes, and then put it into the headline, and that works really well.
And anything else?
Yeah, so for me, the features I use the most on a daily basis, not like I publish anything on a daily basis, I'm not a robot, but I use proofreading for every article I write. Then I use the headline suggestions, and I think some of my colleagues, when I told them that I used this, they thought it was really controversial because they thought I would simply just put my article into the system and then it will do a headline, and I will just like close my eyes and then just publish it. And that's not quite what's happening. I think I've only tried once where I would use the exact headline that MAGNA gave me. In most of the time I use it for when you're writing something, you kind of become blind to other angles and other ways to show your story. And it's just really great at finding new words, finding new approaches to the story. And I usually mix my own suggestions with the suggestions from MAGNA, and then I make something, human and computer made together. And I think, I've been here for 10 years, and I can't remember how many times I've tried that an editor comes to me and say, oh, great news, you have to read out aloud your article. It will only take you 1 hour. And, oh, you have to do a newsletter now. Oh, you have to do a post on social media. And that's, of course, really great, but it takes up a lot of time. This is the first time in my career I've actually tried something where it saves me time. And I think that's really remarkable that I can do transcripts really fast. I can engage with my articles, proofread them. I can work so much faster and efficient that I've never tried that before from something my editor is forcing me to use.
Yes, and we're building the transcription tool into MAGNA as well with prompting. We're going to do that. We have some cloned voices that we are testing out. And we have a chat with a document, also a safe environment where you can put up documents and chat with those.
Yeah, I just wanted to show you guys one of the ways you can use this, because I was one of the users that got to test this before it was launched. And I don't know if you're aware of this, but there was this big boycott of Arla, the dairy producer, in the beginning of the year, because people were angry that Arla was forcing farmers to give this weird substance to the cows so they would produce less flatulence, which is just a really fancy word for farts, as you might be aware. But I wasn't aware of that, and I couldn't understand a single word in this document I found, which is the safety test of this substance. I tried to read it, made no sense to me. So what I did was I uploaded it to DocChat, and I asked it to read through it, look, does it say anything about safety? Does it say anything about lab tests? And then it would summarize. I don't expect you to read this whole thing. And I don't expect you to read this whole thing either. It's just to show that, it found some pretty interesting things regarding the lab tests, and it would then come up with weird new things I didn't understand, like what is crest analysis? But the good thing about this, it's a DocChat, so I can just ask it, what does this mean? What is this free NLP thing? And then after an hour, I felt like I finally understood what this report was all about. And then I made it condense the whole thing into these questions. And then I called an expert, the one expert in Denmark that was supposed to know the most about this. And I can easily say this was the most awkward interview in my life. Because I started asking my questions, and then I think I got like 2 or 3 questions in. And then he was like, I'm sorry, I have to admit something. I actually don't understand the report, so I only read the conclusions in the back. So I can talk about those, but the rest of the report, I have no idea about that. And I think that's a really important point, because of course the danger of all of this, and something that people might be fearing, is that this could turn journalists into some really lazy robots who will just think, great, now AI can do my job, I will just publish whatever. And of course we should be aware of that. But for me and my personal experience is that it can actually enable me to get on top of research really, really fast. And it can tell me what questions I should look into. And in this case, it could actually expose that somebody who claimed to be an expert actually didn't really know what he was talking about.
We are building a Chrome extension, or we have already built it, to get even closer to the workflow. All the article tools will be ready there for journalists to use directly within our CMS systems. We use mostly Q. And what I showed you before is different for all those brands. We have lots of brands in the house. So if you use the headline tool, it would make something very different from Ekstrabladet than for Politiken. That means that each of those prompts are customized. So we have more than 80 plus prompts that we sustain. And all of those are aligned with the tone of voice for each brand. And some of the prompts are very extensive, covering lots of stuff within them, like specialized proofreading for each brand. And each brand can also select a suite of tools that they would like to use if they don't want some of the tools. And we see that adoption is increasing. In 24 hours, we have about 250 unique users, and from the beginning of this year, we have 850 unique users so far. And how do we increase adoption? Well, every time we have a new tool, we visit the newsrooms, launch it, take questions, we do workshops, we do education in collaboration with the Danish School of Media and Journalism. But also, how do we know what to build? And that's also, I think, more important for adoption. We have our stakeholders. Those are our primary people of each brand that we talk with. It's important to ensure that we build a way that aligns with each brand's vision and mission and strategy. And also they come with the needs and challenges that are perceived by those brands. Then, of course, we have all the users, and the users that give us direct user feedback, as we saw before in MAGNA. Also, we have tests of prototypes, and we have workshops and surveys. I'm getting back to that later on. That's interesting. And then we have the team knowledge. As I showed you in the beginning, we have specialized people within the team that knows what is possible to build right now. And that means that the team is able to find the right solutions to the problems from the stakeholders and the users. And now to the survey. We did a survey in the end of March. Mostly men responded, I can see, but quite equal age representation, and a response rate about 25% from the editorial. And one question, as Kasper's already mentioned, is how often do you use AI? Almost 50% daily, and then lots of other weekly, and so on. Only 4% say that they never use AI in this questionnaire. If you use AI, we then asked, what AI tools do you use in your work? And we were happy to see that MAGNA was on top. How much do you agree with the following statements about how the development of AI will affect the next 5 years? So we see that AI will benefit readers and users. 34% agree, 34% partly agree. AI will benefit media houses and journalism as a whole. Even more agree. AI will benefit me personally and my working life. More agree in that. And then AI will benefit employees and journalists in the media. So from that perspective, we have very positive feelings about AI in the house. And then the use of AI. If you look at those blue lines, they have said that they use AI for this. And the orange line is like they would like to use AI for this. So we have most people using it for proofreading and editing, because we have that right there in MAGNA, but they would even more like to use it for research and data collection, already doing that. So that's perhaps something that we should look into more. And then we have at the top those interesting discrepancies about visualization of data and generation of images. Lots of people would like to use it on that. We also have something on feedback on article drafts. We should improve that. But it's a very good insight for us to move on. That was it for us.